Welcome to Football Talks TV. I'm your host Amir Selenia, and on today's episode we are going to be talking about the Champions League final. Saturday, May 26th, Kiev, Ukraine. It's Real Madrid versus Liverpool FC in the final of the 2018 Champions League season. It is going to be a very exciting affair, to say the least. You have the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo going up against Mohamed Salah and the Liverpool lads. This final is going to be truly sensational. It's for the first time in ages that we're going to see a Champions League final that's going to be very closely attested between these two top teams. Liverpool, in their own regard, have been phenomenal throughout the course of this campaign, whereas Real Madrid have sort of stumbled their way into this year's final. Mohamed Salah, Roberto Firmino, Sadio Mane. Remember those three. Liverpool's front attack has been nothing short of just absolute fire en route to this year's finals. Real Madrid, on the other hand, have stumbled to get here. We haven't seen the best of Cristiano Ronaldo, although he is leading the tournament again in goals, which is no shocker at all. That Liverpool front three has scored more goals than the entire Real Madrid squad has. That's an absolutely mind-boggling stat. So without further ado, let's try to take a look at what will be the keys for either team to progress and lift that Champions League trophy. Both these teams have a mentality of score first and defend second. That may be an interesting take, but it has been the case of this tournament. You look at Real Madrid and you have an expectation of veteran defense solely because they have the players like Sergio Ramos, Rafael Varane, Dani Carvajal, and Marcelo. Dani Carvajal, late fitness test, but he is back in the Real Madrid squad. He has started training alongside Cristiano. Both of them played against Villarreal in their final tune-up in anticipation for this match. Both these players are good to go. That said, Real Madrid's defense has not looked great this season. As a whole, Real Madrid have not looked great this season. They have been very fortunate in how they have progressed into the final this year. That's a big thing though. Teams that can go out and not be their usual best but still make it to a Champions League final for the third successive year, that's unheard of. Liverpool are fresh in a Champions League final. They do not have the luxury of an absolutely stacked team like the likes of Real Madrid have. However, Jurgen Klopp has been phenomenal in how he goes about and rotates his players. Liverpool actually had the most amount of changes to their starting 11 in league play in England, of course, throughout all four levels of English football. That's crazy. Jurgen Klopp knows the intensity that his teams like to use with the high press. It's dynamic, it's exciting, but such a physical presence takes its toll on players. Klopp has done a great job in rotating, but a season that stretched out like the one that Liverpool has had its toll on the squad. Position by position of how these two teams stack up, Real Madrid has the advantage in goaltending. Keylor Navas is a much more established and dominant goalkeeper than Loris Karius has been. No disrespect to Karius, he has won his spot, he's looked great doing so, but Keylor Navas is on a different level. Defense, you'd surely expect Real Madrid to be miles above Liverpool's, but although they have the advantage, it hasn't been great. Marcelo, Varane, Ramos, Carvajal, they look good, they haven't looked great, and that speaks volumes. Real Madrid have looked vulnerable. In their most recent game against Villarreal as their tune-up, they went ahead and gave up a 2-goal lead and drew against Villarreal. That result was more so of Villarreal's tenacity of plucking out and really isolating the chances in that Real Madrid left defensive flank, one that is Marcelo's. Marcelo and Carvajal both like to push up and contribute offensively. Both of them are great at crossing, their deliveries are pinpoint, and that's a problem with them in the sense that if they're going so far up, they're gonna leave these gaps back. Liverpool, they also do the same with Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, who have been brilliant in their emerging campaigns for Liverpool. Both these teams' defensive units like to go up and contribute offensively. Those gaps are a big problem, more so for Real Madrid because Liverpool's attack has been more lethal and just by how on form they've been, Real Madrid can't afford to go out and give up these chances. Real Madrid against Barcelona in the El Clasico, in the most recent El Clasico, they had a high line that just did not look good. A lot of pundits were quick to point out that that high line, if it was at the same success that they fielded it against Barcelona, they were going to run into a lot of problems against Liverpool. And I personally agree with that as well. Liverpool's midfield is looking scarcely thin. Key injuries to the likes of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is going to be out for the year. He's going to miss the World Cup. As well as Emre Can have left this midfield looking short. Comparing that to Real Madrid's midfield is on another level. Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, these are the three that I'm expecting that Real Madrid are going to go with. These three are truly world-class players. This is going to be a key matchup between the battle of the midfields. Liverpool's most likely three in the midfield is going to be Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, and utility man extraordinaire James Milner, who, by the way, is leading the Champions League in assists, which is, again, mind-boggling. Going front now and comparing offense, no question about it, Liverpool's offense is on another level. There aren't many sides that which against a Real Madrid side that has Ronaldo up front aren't favored in a match. This speaks volumes of how brilliant Liverpool's attacking three have been. If they are given the chance to attack at free will and play their game plan how they have played their game plan throughout some of these key matches in the Champions League, the tide will play into Liverpool's favor. Van Dijk's arrival has helped Liverpool's defense for sure. They are going to be hard-pressed on the aerial challenges of Real Madrid. We can't forget about Ramos. We cannot forget about Ronaldo, Bale too. The height that they have is incredible. Liverpool have looked dangerously weak throughout the course of the past few seasons and vulnerable very much so to set-piece situations. A game against West Brom really highlighted that for Liverpool fans, but Van Dijk has looked great. Will he be bothered to be able to contain these talents? I think the key for either one of these teams is to not only play their style, but make their stamp on the game early. A lot is being made of the case of Ronaldo. He's known as the left wing. He's going to be isolating Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't feel like that's going to be the case at all. I feel like it's going to be Marcelo, the left back, who's going to be having a lot more one-on-ones with Trent. And on the right side with Carvajal against Andy Robertson of Liverpool. Ronaldo has been playing more of a center forward these days. This campaign has really shown the decline of his legs, of how consistently he can do this week in, week out. And Real Madrid are right to put him in a more lethal not a box-to-box, but a finishing poacher role, if you will. A more traditional number 9. Ronaldo will have his looks at Arnold, there's no question about that. But I will say just as many looks that he's going to have against Arnold, he's going to do against Andy Robertson. He is going to be floating around. More so, I feel like he's going to attack Liverpool's central pairing. Van Dijk has been phenomenal since he's been at Liverpool. Great signing. Sure, the money may have been too much, but if you're a big club, you know what you need and you address that. Take a look at Man City and how much they spent and how brilliant they were throughout the course of a domestic season. Liverpool have to do the same. They did. They signed Van Dijk. That said, Joel Matip is done for the year. Dejan Lovren is now a part of the first choice pairing. Has Lovren shown that he has quality decision making consistently? No. Liverpool need to be consistent. Dejan Lovren, he's being thrust into this role, and he's going to have the biggest game of his career this upcoming Saturday. If he doesn't, and he plays the most not injury prone, but error prone style of mentality where his brain suddenly switches off at key times where these lapses are just ridiculous, Real Madrid are going to take advantage full suit. Defense vulnerability has been an issue for both sides. Midfields, we mentioned that Liverpool's is thin, it's a little bit makeshift. Ideally, Wijnaldum would not be starting, but he's being thrust into the midfield solely because Liverpool do not have the depth. The depth is an issue here for sure. If Liverpool cannot make their stamp on early, they're not going to have the depth that Real Madrid has along the likes of Isco or Asensio to bring on. Ings and Solanke have looked lackluster. Sure, they've been scoring as of late, but on the biggest stage in world football in a European campaign, I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to be the high-octane changes that Jurgen Klopp will have as an ace in his pocket. They just don't have that luxury right now. We can talk about that for next season if they go out and spend money in the transfer market. But as of right now, Liverpool do not have the bench that's needed. This is going to be a very high-scoring affair. I do not think it's going to be scoreless. Honestly, it could be a Liverpool win. It could be a Real Madrid win. But we have to have our hot take here at Football Talks TV. And I am saying Liverpool are going to go ahead and get the job done in Kiev. Jurgen Klopp may have lost 5 finals in a row, but that's going to change come Saturday, May 26th. And I'm anticipating a 3-2 Liverpool victory over Real Madrid. Please let us know what your thoughts are. Give us your hot takes in the comments. And as always, we will be back here addressing the impact and the afterthoughts of how this game panned out. If you're enjoying our content, feel free to give us a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as finding us both on our Facebook and our Instagram pages. Both are at Football Talks TV. Instagram.com/Football Talks TV. Facebook, Football Talks TV. We're going to have a lot of interesting content coming up for this year's World Cup previews, a lot of analysis on both the significance of results that happened, why they're important, what can we talk about them, and most importantly, in the offseason we'll be addressing transfer rumors, as that is a rumor mill that definitely needs to be addressed.